The question of when Saul became Paul is a question that students and readers of Scripture often ask. And they link this transition to the time of Paul's encounter with Christ en route to Damascus. You hear people say that Saul, the Jew, the non-Christian, becomes Paul, the believer, the follower of Jesus, the Christian. But closer examination shows that this is in fact not the case. There was not a time that we know that Saul was not Paul and Paul was not Saul, because Saul is not a pre-Christian name and Paul is not a Christian name, but Saul is a Jewish name, Aramaic name, and Paul is a Roman name, a Gentile name. Wasn't unusual for Jews in the ancient world who lived outside Judea to have dual names. Saul, Paul, Silas, Silvanus, one of Paul's co-workers. And so it is a misconception that Saul becomes Paul. Saul remains Paul's Hebrew identity, even as Paul is a way of referring to Saul in a Gentile context. Follow through with Acts. It's not until Acts 13, where Paul moves to largely Gentile territory, that narrative begins to refer to him consistently as Paul. So the idea that Saul becomes Paul on the Damascus road that day, although a common notion, is a mistaken one.